So dating in the Philippines, I tend to get this question a lot in my live streams at 9 a.m. every day, Manila time, and in almost every single consultation I've done thus far. So right off the top, dating in the Philippines will be a complete 180 opposite of what it is in the West. In the West, you are always being interviewed by the woman, attempting to be hired, quote unquote, by her, regardless of whether you fall higher on a look scale, etc. Just the dynamics of the West have gone to complete SHIT. In the past, probably late 2018, there was a major shift with the invention of OnlyFans and social media kind of taking over the world and whatnot. Women had too many options, and even handsome men had too few options. So in the Philippines, just right off the top, abundance mindset. It's truly unbelievable to a lot of guys that have been beat down by the West, but you truly are the prize. And when you meet a woman, you are interviewing her. She is not interviewing you 90% of the time when you're outside of, maybe perhaps a Miss Universe and, if you've seen better days. So right off the top, if you move to a Manila, for instance, or a BGC or a Makati or whatever, what I always did when I was single for my first year here is I would have the girls come to, I lived in BGC. BGC is kind of the Beverly Hills of the Philippines. And most of the women that you'll be meeting on the sites do not reside in the actual BGC. They might reside in Taguig, which is sort of the surrounding area with regular housing, or they might reside in, Quezon City or Pasay or, a neighboring area, but they probably don't live in BGC. And a lot of women would push for a halfway meet or for you to come to them. But when you're keeping in mind that they're interviewing for you and you're the prize, whether that's because of your perceived wealth or because you're a foreigner, or because you actually live here long term, hopefully, whatever it is, I would make girls come to me. And the way that I would do it is I would tell them I would like to meet at Starbucks. I lived in Uptown BGC, and I would say, meet me at the Starbucks on the roof of the Uptown Mall or right there in front of Xylo or whatever. And I never had a problem with women coming to do that. I think because they wanted to see BGC anyway. They were excited to come to BGC. Maybe they had never been there. Maybe they had been there once. But they probably, the BGC thing certainly helped. And you could probably do this with Makati as well. I always suggest Starbucks for a first date, because if you take a girl to dinner and you're not attracted to her, or she's not attracted to you or something, that could be, an hour to an hour and a half of getting through ordering and waiting 20-30 minutes for the food and then dessert and this and that. And that's a big old waste of time and a big old waste of money if you somehow didn't connect with said person or whatever. You probably always want to do a video call with a woman before you meet them, just to make sure that their pictures aren't super face-tuned or Photoshop, as you probably would in any country. Otherwise, you're taking a bit of a gamble with 2024, Photoshop, Facetune type of technology. So maybe that's a good idea. And then meet them at a Starbucks. At a Starbucks, what I would always do is I would insist on paying. I wouldn't allow them to pay even if they pulled out money, which many of them would. And I would figure, it's what, $3-4 Western, or maybe 180 pesos for an expensive cup of coffee for them. And then you sort of are essentially starting the interview. Again, if the girl's Miss Universe, maybe she's interviewing you. But in my experience, you're always interviewing the woman here in Southeast Asia, or Philippines to be exact. So that'll be quite the departure from the West, more than likely for most of you guys. And that's basically where you just kind of get to know them, and you don't have to have a huge amount of time investment. You can drink a cup of coffee and exit if they, don't look like their pictures, or you didn't do the video call, or something seems off, or they brought, a bunch of friends or something. I mean, I've never had that happen, but yeah, I just tend to just buy them whatever drink they like. I'll get mine and then maybe sit outside or whatever. And sometimes that's turned into, hours of talking there. And sometimes it's been, 30 minutes, and then you walk around BGC or Makati or whatever, and just kind of get to know them better. but you're truly in the driver's seat as a foreigner. I never experienced getting friend zoned, but it certainly could happen. A lot of Manila girls have their own money and they don't need you, so they can afford to be picky or tell you if they do not think you are, you know, God's gift or you're not qualified to be with them. But I've never experienced that, and likely you won't either. So it's just a nice way to get to know someone without having to, you know, commit to an hour or two at a restaurant and spending a bunch of money if in fact you guys weren't going to be a love connection or a dating connection or whatever you want to call it. And then what I would do after that is I would possibly walk around the city with them, or you are obviously welcome to, if they seem trustworthy or like a good person, to invite them back to your condo, which would be probably nearby in either location. This is for cities, obviously, but that's a good formula to not have to, you know, ride across town. Sometimes riding across town in a Grab could take you an hour or something in Manila traffic, and a lot of people want to come to the Makatis and BGCs anyway, and you're just in a situation where it's a low investment and you're able to get a feel for someone, how they really look in person, what the vibe really is. And then if you choose to do so as two consenting adults, you could take her back to your place. You could walk around High Street if you're in BGC, or walk around Uptown, or, you know, whatever you decide to do. But that was kind of the formula that I always had when I was single, and that worked pretty good. If you are out of the friend zone and, you know, you're not in the brother-sister zone, nothing wrong with taking them out to eat or taking them out for drinks or whatever you so desire, you know, at that point. But I think buying a stranger that may not be your girlfriend or a love interest a cup of coffee is a pretty low investment, and they're coming to you. I always stood by that. I never met anyone halfway. I never went to their place. I didn't even actually pay for transportation, but I think that's definitely something nice you could do for a girl if she's willing to come see you and she asks for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Grab or Angus or whatever is going to be like $2 to $4 probably from where they're coming from. So if you want to be a gentleman and do that, knock yourself out. It's probably a great idea. But that's a good way to kind of break the ice and get a feel for someone and sort of interview them. As much as that'll sound crazy, that's really what you're doing, especially if you're a high value guy or you're fit or you're, you know, coming over here a little bit before retirement age or whatever. Even if you are, you know, an older guy, this is a great formula for city meetings with Filipinas. Now, as far as Filipinas go, Filipinas are not very promiscuous generally. Now, there's exceptions to every rule, and especially in the city, you can find girls that are very Western, but they're not very promiscuous. They don't want to be part of a harem. They're not looking for threesomes like girls in Las Vegas or LA or anything. They are relatively conservative, like on a video call or stuff like that. Does that mean that they're necessarily conservative behind closed doors? No, it doesn't. But they don't necessarily want to talk about it, or they're not like a Western girl that's going to want to do like a little bit of a wild video call, if you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. They tend to not want to do that. They want to meet you in person, and they want you to be their boyfriend or their husband, and they don't want to discuss it. They don't want to do phone sex or anything like that. They want to meet in person and see what the vibe is, and if they like you, two consenting adults can do whatever two consenting adults want to do. But don't believe the hype from other people and other vloggers and stuff that Filipinas want to be part of a harem, or that Filipinas want to do group stuff. They are extremely jealous, extremely possessive, extremely clingy, and some Filipinas will treat you like their husband or be doting on you from the second that they meet you if they're actually genuinely attracted to you. And that will be a big departure from the West as well, from these, you know, ice queen boss babes that are just a little bit less than desirable at this point. So that's just a quick take on first meetings with Filipinas and how Filipinas are. That's obviously for the city, but, you know, you could employ some type of variation of that if you're living in Boracay or Bohol or a beach or a province or whatever. But just figured I'd bring that to you guys and show you this beautiful city at night. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and sana all.